So once you own your desire, right, it becomes reflective in your presence. And even when you're silent, people can feel that grounded certainty, that settled ownership of who you are and what you want. And that is what embodiment is. That is the embodiment of desire, the embodiment of self-mastery, and the embodiment of self-ownership. It makes you magnetic without effort. It makes your movement, physical or energetic, more fluid rather than defensive. There is something deeply unfair about a society that teaches you that your desires are shameful, that to name a craving honestly makes you weak, desperate, or too much. So what do? We talk our longing in a way, we make ourselves small, and we pretend we don't care. But suppressed desire doesn't vanish. It becomes an invisible leak in your energy field. It festers. It makes you compensate. You perform for validation. You overwork, or you numb out with distractions. You end up living a lie just to fit into a script. Hello and welcome. I'm a queen, your holistic strategist, and if I'm not already your strategist, you're leaving power on the table. My work is simple. I help you translate your spiritual awareness, your occult wisdom, and your esoteric intelligence into real-world strategy so that your inner evolution actually reshapes how you work, create, love, lead, and raise your lineage. I merge the mystical with the mundane through archetypal psychology, esoteric mapping systems, and holistic strategies. So you don't just know spiritual things, you live them visibly and powerfully. If that's the life you're building, stay here. I invite you to hit the follow button, turn on notifications, and use the link in my bio to stay connected to the deeper work and spaces. Desire is not your enemy. Desire is pure life force, and it is your body's clearest signal. And when I speak of desire, I'm talking about the full spectrum. The desire for financial leverage, the desire for recognition of your competence, contribution, and emotional intelligence, the desire for beauty, desirability, and being valued, the desire for high quality attention and reciprocal respect. And yes, the powerful, often unspoken desire for intimate connection with lovers, specifically men. And this is the desire a lot of women have a distorted view and connection with, obviously, because of society and how we've been conditioned and programmed and raised as women. But the desire is not the problem. Most times, the fear of disappointment is. And the deeper truth is that naming that desire feels very dangerous, because once you name it, you must confront the possibility that someone may fail you again. You must confront the memory of disrespect, neglect, or betrayal. You must confront the fear that choosing what you want may not choose you back. And you must confront the fear that you may be rejected or shamed by the tribe, because that makes you look weak. So instead of admitting the desire exists and building genuine standards around its path, you choose the safety of suppression, and a part of you dies with each suppressed feeling or desire. And when I say standards, I don't mean the popular superficial rules everyone recites. I don't mean the trend-based requirements the internet has turned into checklists. I'm talking about standards rooted in reality. Standards that are rooted in you. Standards that are shaped by what nourishes you emotionally, spiritually, romantically, and financially. Standards that feel like alignment, not performance. When women don't name their true desire, they swing to one of two extremes. One group convinces themselves they don't need anyone, or that they've transcended said desire. They bury themselves in work, avoidance, hyper-independence, distractions, pretending partnership, or the desire that they are scared to name does not matter. The other hand, these ones, they become a caricature of what they think they should be, performing womanhood in a way that pleases the world but starves their soul. And each fulfilled societal expectation makes them weaker inside a little, because every should want they accomplish is another step away from what their soul is actually seeking. And that is why knowing yourself at soul level matters so much, because once you know yourself, your real needs, the texture of your desire, what your soul finds nourishing, it becomes easier to create standards and uphold them. Not loud, performative, declarative standards that is not rooted in anything real, but quiet, powerful standards that act as a filter, leverage, and personal accountability. And you to understand that our desires are often connected. Your longing for love is often tied to your longing to feel safe being loved. Your desire for financial freedom is tied to your desire to care for yourself and others with dignity. Your desire for beauty is tied to your desire for confidence and belonging. And these threads, they all meet in your sacral chakra, your sacral energy center, and that place in your body or in your energetic field that stores desire, creativity, sensuality, and life force. Every time you deny what you truly want or desire, your sacral dims. It wounds your pleasure, your creativity, your ability to feel alive. It chips away at your sensuality, your magnetism, and your creative spark. And that is why you must learn to own your desires without shame. Because, see, if you would pay attention, you see that the most sensual people aren't sensual because of how they dress or how they present physically or aesthetics. They are sensual because they know what they want and they are unapologetic about it. They know who they are and they are unapologetic about it. They don't contort themselves to be accepted. They don't pretend to want less than what they truly desire. They own their desires. See, when you name your desire and remove the shame sitting on top of it, whether it is internalized shame or external judgment, everything changes. Your sensuality rises, your discernment sharpens, your presence becomes more magnetic, and your self-assurance becomes unmistakable. You become a magnet to what you truly desire, because now you're living in the truth, you're living in the embodiment of said desires. But when you're still lying to yourself, or you're signaling confusion, even if what you're seeking or what you truly desire is trying to magnetize or find its way to you, it will not, because you're not living in the embodiment of what you truly desire. So once you own your desire, right, it becomes reflective in your presence. And even when you're silent, people can feel that grounded certainty, that settled ownership of who you are and what you want. And that is what embodiment is. That is the embodiment of desire, the embodiment of self-mastery, and the embodiment of self-ownership. It makes you magnetic without effort. It makes your movement, physical or energetic, more fluid rather than defensive. And it clears your path, because now you're no longer negotiating against your own truth and your own desire. And that in turn sharpens your throat chakra. You become more authentic without performance. You're able to live and speak your truth. Because just like how your desires are interlinked, the energy centers are interlinked. So once one energy center is wounded, it affects the other one. Once your sacral, your ability to own your desires, to live and walk in your desires, once that is wounded, it affects your ability to live your truth, and that is your truth chakra. So this is the invitation. You must learn to name the desires you've been hiding. Fuck what society thinks. Fuck what you think you should live by, or what you think your desire should be, or what society tells you your desire should be. Learn yourself. Learn what you want. Learn what you desire. Live and live it and embody it and live that truth. And once you learn yourself, this is self-knowledge, right? Now, you must now take what you already know about yourself and let it shape your standards. Let it shape your wants. Let it shape how you move, how you decide, how you live your truth. And once you can do this, it removes that shame. You release that shame, because then you're not carrying shame that doesn't belong to you anymore. Because more often than not, our shame around our desires are not born or birthed from anything inside of us. They are mostly external. We just internalize it. So once you name the desire you've been hiding, you must take it, you must be honest with it, and you must let it shape your standards and not shame you into silence. You must let it refine your presence, your boundaries, and your magnetism. Your desire is not your weakness. Your desire is your guide and your voltage. And it is the first step towards building the life and the love you actually crave. Now, if you're ready to live in brutal self-ownership, brutal self-mastery, and brutal self-knowledge, you want to learn or be able to name your desires, to see your patterns, to see how you move, or to see the blind spot of what you may have been denying yourself of. You want to understand your own consciousness so that it becomes easy for you to name your desires. Then the Feminine Architecture Manual will be your lifelong guide. It walks you through feminine consciousness in its primordial, embodied, and sovereign expression. It contains multiple feminine archetypes in their shadow and their integrated expression, and how it shapes your wants and your desires in work, creation, and love. This manual will not be dropped publicly. It will be placed only in the hands of the willing and the ready, and the souls who are not afraid of exploring their desires and their shadows. So head over to the link in my profile to join the waitlist. Only those inside will get access to it. See you in the next video. Ciao!